describe it is the team with the less talented quarterback that makes more mistakes lost to the team that has the much more talented quarterback that makes no mistakes. The Bills last night scored 31 points and had no turnovers. Second team in league history to start the season with 3 straight games, 30-plus points, 0 turnovers. Josh Allen, through hard work and coaching, has eliminated his only flaw, reckless. And what's remarkable is my entire life, I said this on the air many times, it's the one thing I didn't think coaches could mostly coach you out of. Because anybody I ever met in high school that was reckless at 17, if I saw them again 30 years later, they were reckless at 47. I always thought it was a DNA thing. I always thought it was just kind of a personality thing. Reckless guy early is reckless guy at 55 years old. And it shows you how humble and also how self-aware Josh Allen is. Since the start of last season, 48 touchdowns with Josh Allen, 8 giveaways. The Bills have not lost the turnover battle in a season and a half, 25 games. I mean, and he doesn't play favorites. Everybody eats. 9 different guys caught passes. I mean, I loved Andrew Luck, and we all love Brett Favre. You couldn't get the reckless out of them. I mean, Matt Stafford, the year he won the Super Bowl with the Rams, did you know he led the NFL in interceptions? Eli Manning twice beat Tom Brady. 3 times he led the NFL in picks. So I've always loved guys like Elway, who's aggressive, and Peyton Manning that's aggressive. But you can't eliminate the interceptions. To have this much talent and horsepower, and Josh is the biggest, strongest, best arm to have all this horsepower, and yet be willing to put on restrictor plates is insane. You are watching history. This makes absolutely no sense. I mean, the quarterbacks that we all love, we love the gunslinger part. And then Josh Allen came into the league, and he was a bit of a gunslinger. But smart enough, humble enough, self-aware enough, realizing that's not the sport. Brady and Mahomes didn't throw picks. And so Josh Allen, with all that horsepower, with that V12 engine, it's like, now I'm going to go electric. Like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. Josh Allen has definitely officially evolved his game over this last, really kind of since 2023 onward, especially once Brady was there. And it just shows you how sometimes you do need a little bit of a philosophical change. And it's funny because I fully believe that Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL and is just absolutely just one of the greatest we've ever seen. No ifs, ands, or buts. And for me, whenever we talk about quarterback lists, people will often ask me, what's your top 5? What's your top 10? This, that. And I'm always like, it really depends on the situation. Do you have a terrible team? Do you have a great team? Do you have a great coach, a bad coach, a good O-line, a bad O-line? Like it all depends. And one of the things that I used to say is, listen, if you have like an amazing team, stacked roster, stacked coach, great defense, et cetera, I was like, yeah, you could make the argument, even though that I think Josh Allen is better than Patrick Mahomes and does more, you would feel better having Patrick Mahomes there because he's kind of shown that he can also manage games really well, and you're going to need to be able to do that throughout a season, and, and just be smarter with the ball, et cetera. And it's just like, now that statement no longer holds as much truth as it did to me once upon a time. I used to think that on any given Sunday, give me Josh Allen over a Mahomes. But if you're in this perfect situation, you're like, you know what? I get all the amazing stuff with Josh Allen, but I probably don't need that as much on a great team. And you still have the risk of him being a little reckless or a little bit loose with the ball. And you're like, I don't necessarily need that for this team. So I don't need it. Don't give it to me. So therefore, okay, it's probably a little bit more safer and conservative to be with Mahomes. But it's just no longer feel that way. At least not right now. And we saw signs of that last season when it looked like he was going, against the Ravens, when he was going to maybe lateral that ball back, and his like eyes lit up, and everybody was like, no, don't do that. And he even joked, he's like, yeah, maybe like in years past I would have done that, but and so like he knows it, right? Like he knows that he was a little wild, and you can't blame someone like him, because most of the time it's always these guys who are just monsters who can just do anything, and it's hard to reel it in. It is why someone like Steph Curry pulls up from all over the place, because like he can make those shots. So it's just like, what do you mean I don't got to reel anything in? Like, like every shot is a great shot for me. And it's like, yeah, but no, closer to you're a little bit more accurate the closer you get to the basket than the further you get. So just because you can still make it doesn't mean that you should take it. And so that is something that Josh Allen has learned, over his career. And it is awesome to see. I don't think we talk about the evolution and the growth of these quarterbacks enough. The quarterbacks that we really like, we just pretend that they've always been that great. We pretend that they just entered the league that great, and that there was like no growth or no evolution of them, that it was just, they were just this great, and then like the coaching caught up, or the team caught up, or this is who he's always been. Like I hear that all the time. I'm like, oh, so-and-so's gotten really good, and they're like, no, this is who he's always been. And it's like, okay, sure, whatever you say. And it's just we should appreciate the growth and the development that even the greats are part of, right? That they have to walk that path as well. And it's just awesome to see. You're watching Josh Allen play last night, and you're just like, you really are just like, man, there's no sense of like, is there going to be some fatal mistake here? I don't recall him making a single mistake last night. I really don't. And listen, the score should be even higher. There was a few drives that weren't sustained by no fault of his own, by drop passes, and they even pointed out in the broadcast. I forget who it was, but it was kind of like not exactly like a back shoulder pass, but a route that is again, for the life of me, I meant to write it down, but I forget now. Where he's going back to the ball, and it just hits him right in the hands, and he just drops it, and then that now you don't convert, and it's just like, those are the plays that you need to come up with consistently and reliably. I mean, even the one touchdown pass to Kincaid that was dropped, I mean, you're just like, this is as perfect of a pass as it gets. And fortunately that the Bills and Josh Allen are good enough that they can have some of those moments, but like, if they clean those moments up, they're putting up 40 plus points a game with ease. And so, a game like this shouldn't have been as close. And listen, Tua gets a lot of heat. Tua is actually a good quarterback. Like he really is. He's a really good quarterback. Is he Josh Allen? No, he is far from Josh Allen, but he's no scrub. And McDaniel's a good coach, and they got Tyreek. Like they got pieces there. So that this offense was always going to have some levels of success. And so it's not like you can just say like, hey, this score should be 31-3. And it's like, no, that's not fair. And then it's funny because I saw this one graphic going around about what Daniel Jones did. And this is what Josh Allen did. And it's just like, there's just different ways to win games. And not every game is now just going to be throwing for 400 yards and rushing for 80 and 5 touchdowns. Like, that's not what every game calls for. And that's great. There was no moments where it felt like Josh Allen was trying to do too much, that you're just kind of like, just be smart, just be smooth. You're going to win this game, et cetera, et cetera. But to be fair, if it wasn't for that punt, for the running into the punter, the interception by Tua, like there were moments that this game could have been lost. A team that was a little bit more disciplined in the Miami Dolphins and executed just a little bit better, they could have at least tied this game, or maybe even won this game. And that is something that I think it's important to point out, and even a team and a quarterback who I obviously have an insane belief in, it's always important for me to point that stuff out and to not just be like, oh, they won 31-21, they're unstoppable, let's go. It's not how I operate. I look for the good, the bad, and anything in between to have a full conversation about exactly what we're seeing. And that is just things that you want to clean up, because against better teams, you'll potentially pay the consequences for that, and the Bills are too good to allow some of those things. So when you combine a couple of drop passes that stall drives, because there was I think 3 drives in a row that they were either 3 and out, or they had a first down and then had to punt, and you're just there's no reason for this to feel stalled right now. There's no reason for it. And it wasn't bad play calling. It wasn't bad execution. It was just they weren't coming up with the passes or with the catches, excuse me. And you're just this shouldn't be. And unfortunately, the way how football works is that a lot of times it is just, one catch, one pass, one play that then stalls out a drive. Sometimes if you have 3 downs to first, second, and third, sometimes you really only in those 3 downs get one nice play, nice pass that you can now either take a big chunk and get 8 yards or a full first down, whatever it may be. Sometimes it's there and you have to come up with it. It's just the difference between now converting that down, now becoming 2nd and 2, 3rd and 1, or punting. And now the difference between catching that ball and punting is now the difference between getting a touchdown or a field goal and punting. It's just it's there's only so many opportunities in a game to reach the goal that you're trying to achieve. And when you don't come down with them, it hurts a lot more than I think than we often ever give it credit to. A lot of times in sports, you can always be like, oh, it's all right, shake it off, next play. And you do have that in football, no doubt. But the opportunities when compared to, say, a basketball game are just so much more limited. And sometimes that little drop pass just for 8 yards, it really is the difference between winning and losing, even though it was in the first quarter. It's really the difference between scoring a touchdown that drive, even though it was only on first down. It was yeah, but we got 2nd down and 3rd down. You got to find a way to convert on 2nd and 3rd. And it's just those are all true in theory, but in football, there's just only so many opportunities. There's just only so many opportunities for a team to be able to take advantage of another team, no matter how good or bad that team may or may not be. So those are just some of the things that I would love to see the Buffalo Bills clean up. And the final play, the near final play, where Josh Allen holds onto the ball and takes a hit, and even when he gets up, he even has to shake himself out for a second, because he just took a hit, and they did kind of 2 tosses to their to the running back. I'm not sure. I don't think it was Cook. Then Josh Allen holds on the ball. The game's over. They're just milking the clock, and he now holds on to the ball, runs around for a second, and then gets hit. And you're just like, why? Why is this man taking any extra hits in a game that he clearly 100% does not need to? I for the life of me, I don't understand that. I really, really don't. Even the tosses to the running back, I'm just like, you're flirting with danger right now. You're flirting with just taking your eyes off the ball, a miscue, dropping the ball, and now it's a fumble. Don't even do that. Just put it in his chest and and in his stomach and just go with it. What are we doing here? That moment of the game was actually, to me, the most perplexing, because there were some real tosses backwards too, where you're just like, oh my god, I've seen this go wrong before. Okay, I've seen this go off the fingertips of a running back. What are we doing here? And then it's okay, now the final play is Josh Allen just going to keep it and literally take a pretty solid hit on him, where, like I said, it takes him a second to get up and he kind of shakes it out, and you're just like, yeah, that shouldn't have happened. I'd rather you just take a knee at that point. So yeah, I'll never get it, but we see it pretty regularly. But Josh Allen is the perfect quarterback. He is a monster. He is a beast. And the Buffalo Bills are playing great, but want to see them play better. That's just a reality for me. I want to see them play better. They came away with the win against the Baltimore Ravens, which was awesome. They need to play better against that Baltimore Ravens team. They needed Josh Allen to be an absolute monster and a perfect QB for them just to eke out a win. They rolled the Jets because the Jets aren't good, and they beat the Dolphins and the Dolphins aren't good, right? So make no mistake about it. They beat a great team week 1, great win, but a tough win and a win that felt too hard than it should have been. That game should have been more competitive from start to finish, but there was a stretch when you were just like, oh my God, they're about to get rolled. And then they beat the Dolphins and the Jets, who, quite frankly, are just not even close to being on the level of Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. So I look at those games and I'm like, yeah, you better win those games. You better win those games. And you just, those types of games, you would like to see them, which they did with the Jets, to be fair, but to just really put them away, really keep them at arm's length. And, you know, I'm not going to say that you're always going to be able to win a game by 10, 14 and beyond points, but there should never really be an opportunity for a team like that to come back and beat you. And yeah, there was a moment with the Dolphins, and it did take a Dolphins mistake to come away with that, to not, they didn't win because of that mistake, but they greatly benefited from that mistake. And, you know, you would like the Bills to not even remotely need anything like that to come away with that type of win, but still a good win. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen being the perfect quarterback? And how do you feel about the Bills right now? How do you feel about the Bills win over the Dolphins? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.